start recording. Take 150.
And we are live, everybody. Welcome to the Ron Bass Show, your source for inspiration, motivation, encouragement. A lot of dry humor from this guy over here, Brett Atterbury.
Did you say we are live?
We are alive.
Oh, we're live. We're live here. We won't be live in this place.
Oh, that's right. Well, anyway, 6.5 dozen are the
And we are alive.
We are alive.
Yes.
We are alive.
Yes.
Thank goodness. Huh?
Sorry to interrupt
Luckily.
your introduction.
No big deal. Brent over here, he's our executive producer, as you guys already know, and marketing guy. He does a lot of marketing for our companies. Does a lot of marketing for a lot of companies, and that's another long story. But at any rate, stories.
Like stories. I love stories.
Well, I got a compliment for you. Somebody said they usually listen to our podcast on Spotify, but the other day they were watching it on YouTube, and they said, "Man, Brett, he's such a handsome guy, and his voice sounds so young." I thought that was interesting.
That is.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, I only had to pay him $10 for that, by the way. I'm kidding.
$10.
A compliment. All right, so I got a dental story.
Woo!
Yeah. So I went through a lot of stuff the last few years, made some mistakes, made some bad investments. Brent knows about all this. And I, unfortunately, had to not do my normal routine with the dental thing. I used to, for 30 or 40 years, I always go to the dentist every 3 months. I've done this a long time.
What'd you say? Every 3 months?
Every 3 months.
Wow.
To have my teeth cleaned and to have my teeth cleaned, right? Because the gums, the teeth. And when you get older, you know, it just everything goes to heck anyway. So even more important as you get old. At any rate, for 2 years I hadn't gone to the dentist. Now I still floss, I still brush. And by the way, a lot of people don't realize this, but bad breath comes from tongue. You have to brush your tongue, guys. And I know it sounds crazy, but I was talking to my dental hygienist about it. She said, yeah, most people don't know that. But if you scrub your tongue vigorously, I promise you, you'll have not near the bad breath, and you'll have people around you will be a lot happier.
Wow.
Just saying, okay. So at any rate, I finally made a dental appointment, and so happy to get in there. And they said, well, Mr. Bass, all we can do is do the, take the x-rays and have the dentist come in, and he's going to survey, see if you have cavities and all that. I said, but I want to have my teeth cleaned also. They said, well, our hygienist is way out, so it's going to be another month or so. She said, but usually we can work you in and we can try. So go over there, the dentist comes in, they did all the x-rays, said, yeah, you've got some cavities. Oh my God, I got cavities. That's what happens when you don't go to the dentist every 3 months, right? Thinking to myself. So this and that, and saying, oh, by the way, the hygienist is available after this event here. And I said, okay, perfect. So that was about an hour in, and then so for the next hour, I went to the hygienist. And the reason I'm telling the story is because dental is just as important, guys, as physical health. It's part of your physical health, but people kind of like separate it, and they don't recognize how important your dental health is. You can get really, 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 really sick if you don't tend to your dentist, to your teeth. You can get a lot of infections, and people can die. I mean, literally die. I've got a lot of friends, maybe they're not friends. I know a lot of people that have some really bad dental issues, and it's not pretty. So there's a whole lot of reasons, guys, why you need to go to the dentist at least once a year. I mean, I'm a little extreme, I get it, but I think, at least once a year. Have your teeth cleaned. Make sure if you got cavities, get them filled, which I've got to go back in and get some, some cavities filled. And it's weird because I don't sense that I have any issues, like physical. I can't tell that I have a cavity.
Right.
I think they're pretty tiny, but, you got to fix them. If you don't, then it just spreads and it gets worse and you can lose your teeth, right? But the story I'm telling this to get back around to the idea that when I talk about health, going to the gym and working out, for your body, right, for your heart, your lungs, your blood pressure, and your physicality, you got to do the dentist thing too, man. It's super important.
Yes.
And I was really impressed with the hygienist. I was really impressed with the dentist. I was really impressed with the lab tech. Super nice people. We got this new camera now where it just it's weird. I've never had that experience before, and it takes x-rays of the whole the whole gig. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was like, wasn't cheap though. It was like, I think the whole experience was like $300, but it's well worth it to know where you stand, to have your teeth, to have really it's your gums. Like if your gums, if you're not brushing, if you're not using dental floss, you're gonna have gum disease, and that's not pretty. You're gonna bleed. You know, it's just you're gonna lose your teeth. At my age, I'm fortunate to have all my teeth because a lot of people my age they're wearing dentures. I'm just saying. You know,
Yeah.
I know it sounds crazy to talk about it, but
No.
okay, Barks Root Beer.
Well,
We're advertising you.
Yeah, I go every 6 months, but that's what the dentist recommends me to do. So
That's fair enough.
Yeah,
I'm a little
And,
extreme.
yeah. We
I
know
get it.
that,
Yeah,
Ron.
we know that.
But you, speaking of bad breath, so at the gym, are you ever close to anybody
All the
to where
time.
you can tell if they have halitosis?
Yes, and
or
it's
they
not pretty.
or they didn't brush their tongue?
Yeah, it's not pretty. You know, the worst thing you can do is kiss somebody that's got bad breath. That's terrible.
Well, I wasn't gonna go that far. I was just want to know if you ran into anybody at the gym that had bad breath.
Yes, I have, and it's it's uncomfortable because you're having to step back a little bit. It's crazy, but hey, always keep a bottle of mouthwash nearby. I'm just saying, guys. I've done that my whole life. I know it sounds kind of silly, but I guess sometimes I am a little bit silly. People sound too serious, so I'm trying to be a little more silly.
Good.
Fair enough?
Yes.
Okay, we'll get a little more serious now. Look, I was talking to some people last night in my gym, and here we go again. These guys are athletes, and they're teaching other people to be athletes. And sure enough, as soon as we get done with our class, they all want to go smoke pot. Come on, man. And you know what? I hate to say it, but they're overweight. And they're young, so they feel like because they're young, they can overcome all this stuff. But you have to be proactive every day. You have to work out every day. You have to eat right. You have to rest right. Because if you don't, sooner or later, it's all going to catch up with you. And I know I'm repeating myself over and over again a lot, but look, the bottom line is, my friend was telling me last night, man, I can't believe that I had a job interview and I gave my so-and-so as a reference and they didn't give me a good reference. And I said, well, don't be so surprised. I said, most people are not going to be to your favor. They're going to turn on you. They're going to say things behind your back. It's uncomfortable and it's unfortunate, but guys, you have to rely more on yourself than ever. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps and focus on your own self. Because if you count on other people to help you, you're going to be disappointed a lot. And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but I've been through enough the last couple of years that I'm telling you that I know what I'm talking about. It's okay to have a few people around you that you know 100% you can sink your teeth into, and that's cool. But by and large, guys, people are going to talk behind your back. They're not going to be helpful like you think they're going to be. They're going to, in many cases, they're going to actually turn on you and try to hurt you. It's just human nature. And then I studied the psychology. Why is that happening? Because most people have such a poor self-image. The only way they can make themselves feel good about themselves is to try to have some sort of superiority over others. This is not an unusual subject. I'm sure you hear about these things a lot. But if you study it, that's the psychology. So, so-and-so thinks he's this and he thinks he's that. Well, you know what? He probably only got successful because he's cheating or he's doing something unlawful. They're talking behind your back, guys. I'm just telling you, this is the way it works. But I'm saying that to get around to this. Focus on yourself. Focus on your own self-image, your own self-esteem. Have some self-respect. We were talking last night about couples that cheat on each other. Man, if you got a spouse cheating on you, get the heck out of there. Have some self-respect. Don't tolerate it. I can't tell you how many people I know that have tolerated it, continue to tolerate it, and I just see their self-esteem and their self-respect going out the window. It's no good, guys. You cannot accept that, period. I see you wanting to say something over there.
Well, I was going to wait. You were very passionate
Because
about what you were talking about.
I'm going through these things and I see it so much and I just want to speak about it.
But you also said earlier that these people didn't get a good reference. And if they were relying on their friends to give them a good reference, for example, that they hang out with and smoke pot, they probably do things that are not say things and do things
Yes.
that this friend probably doesn't trust them. They're fun to hang with, but maybe they wouldn't trust them in a professional or business setting.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
But also, when you smoke pot, don't you get the munchies? Is that why they're overweight?
That's a lot of it.
Okay. Just saying.
And one person in particular who I love to death smokes a lot of pot every day, and that person is at least 50 pounds overweight. It's not good. And I hate to harp on it all the time, but you got to get it together, guys. You cannot be overweight and be healthy. And I don't mean like 5 or 10 pounds. I'm talking about, if you're, I'm probably 5 or 10 pounds overweight, but if you're 50 pounds overweight, you can't do that. You're going to suffer. I've got friend after friend after friend with diabetes, with high blood pressure. There's no way that and their joints are screwed up. My joints are screwed up too, but I'm 71, so you're going to have arthritis when you're old, probably, most likely, more people than not. But it's not from overweight. It's from usage, from all the years that I ran and did exercises, and from aging and genetics. But don't have joint problems because you're overweight. That's no good. You have to get it together, man. Another friend of mine quit smoking cigarettes, then he went to vaping. Now he's taking nicotine lozenges. And I said to him, hey, that's cool. That's progress, yes, but it's still an addiction. You're still addicted to the drug, which is nicotine. Now, I'd rather see him take the lozenges and put smoke in his lungs. But come on, man. You got to be strong enough and stronger than that to get rid of these bad habits. You have to take charge of your life. And you cannot let bad habits interfere with your goals. And this is what happens. It's another subject. People chase the feel good. We talk about this. Everybody's chasing the feel good. The relationship. Oh, I'm so in love. She makes me feel so good. He makes me feel so good. The money. Oh, the money. I can do this. I can do that. Look at me. The popularity. Look at me. I'm socially popular. Everybody wants to be around me. Look, guys. That's like the icing on the cake. You have to focus on feeling good about yourself. That's the only thing that's really real, is to feel good about yourself. And how do you get there? Setting goals, accomplishments. They don't have to be big accomplishments. You can do all kinds of stuff, man. Like Brett and I have discussions every week about the trials and tribulations of my companies and what I've been through and how I had to correct things to be able to move forward and survive and become successful again. You have to hit things head on. Somebody said, "Oh, but I'm trying." That's fine to try, but it's not going to solve it. You have to hit it head on. If you've got a big problem, you need to hit it. You need to hit those problems with big solutions. You can't just lollygag along. You like that word? Lollygag?
Lollygag.
Yeah. You can't just lollygag along and think that it's all going to be wonderful. No, you have to have big solutions if you want to have big successes. It's just as easy to work hard as it is to not work hard, because once you get into the groove of working hard, you're in the groove. It's like when I get on the Stairmaster every day, which we talk about that. When you first start, it's like, oh my gosh. But after you're in there a few 5 or 10 minutes, you're into the groove. Same thing with fighting. Same thing if you're fighting, if you're boxing, if you're doing jiu-jitsu. The anticipation's always the struggle. Oh, I got to go to the gym. Oh, I got to get in the cage. I got to fight. Oh, I got to get on the mats and wrestle. But once you once you get in there, you're desensitized because you've done it so many times and you're just comfortable with it. I hope all this makes a little bit of sense to you guys. Look, if you can just take one thing out of every time we do a podcast and take it and use it to your advantage, then the podcast is worth it to me. Same thing with jiu-jitsu. Every time I go to a class, my black belt teaches so many details. But it's to my advantage to learn them because the odds of my success are much higher if I follow these details. Now, if I don't retain all of it, It's okay if I just retain one thing every night that I go to a class. Think about how much I'm going to gain over the course of a year, or 2 years, or 3 years, or 4 years. You get the idea? Don't worry about how much you're gaining. Be more interested in how much you're participating. Because when you participate in a goal, or the process of accomplishing the goal, you're going to gain something every time that you make that effort. Are you going to have days where you don't feel good about yourself? Of course. I can write a book about it. But there's going to be days you're going to feel phenomenal. Like, wow, you're on top of the world. You're going to have days you get up and you go, I don't feel right. And then you say, how come I don't feel right? Listen, the chemistry in the brain is crazy. You just don't know how it's going to be every day. But I can tell you that if you do all the right things, you follow the rules, you're more likely to feel better more of the time than not. Nothing's perfect. Quit beating yourself up, guys. Sometimes I catch myself going, dadgummit, gosh darn it. And then I have to say, Ron, I'll talk to myself. Wait a second. Quit beating yourself up, man. You're a hypocrite if you're going to do this. You're telling everybody on the podcast, don't beat yourself up. And I'm beating myself. Quit it. Okay.
So you answer yourself
I answer
when you
myself.
talk to yourself.
It's not good, is it?
Well, I don't know.
Maybe a sign of something not so good, maybe. I don't know. I think it's okay. Look, guys, don't worry about being alone. All my friends, oh, I got to have a girlfriend. Oh, I got to have a wife. Oh, I got a husband. Come on, man. Be comfortable in your own skin. If you find somebody that you love and you can get along with and you respect, wonderful. But don't worry about it. It's not going to change anything to worry about anything. Take action. Action is what makes things go. I thought about the ever ready bunny rabbit. What is it? Ever ready bunny?
Energizer.
Energizer bunny. The little
But we can
rabbit.
call him the Ever Ready.
Yes. Isn't it ever ready batteries?
It's actually Energizer.
Energizer's the name of the battery?
Energizer. It's the Energizer Bunny.
Yes, but what's the name of the battery? I think it's Ever Ready Batteries.
It might be.
Regardless, so look, if you don't have the energy, you can't make the bunny go. You have to have here's how you get the energy. Got to work out. You
Recharge your batteries.
Got to recharge your battery. And rest is how you recharge your batteries. Look, man, you try to get by on 4 or 5 hours of sleep, it's not going to work. For a while when you're 20, 30, maybe, but when you get 40, 50, 60. By the way, I looked at some stats. There are people listening to our podcast that are actually in their 50s and early 60s, but it's only like 1 or 2%.
Wow.
The majority are under 40. Really, the majority are under like 30. So
It's either they don't need help or they don't want help.
yeah. But
Well,
I
they don't
appreciate
listen-
all our subscribers.
Well, they
out
don't
there.
listen to
They don't listen to podcasts. We've got some great subscribers. They send me great comments, and I always try to respond to everybody, and I appreciate that, guys. I don't have all the answers. Some people say, oh, Ron, who do you think you are? No, it's not that, guys. I just am passionate about passing along things that I've learned that have helped me. And listen, I got plenty of faults, but that doesn't mean that I don't work every day on trying to improve my faults. So hopefully this year I'm better off than I was last year in terms of how I view myself and what I'm doing to try to improve my life. And the more you improve your life, the more people are going to benefit because they're following you. Your children are following you. Your co-workers are following you. Your students are following you. If you're a teacher, if you're a mother and a father, a brother and a sister, you're going to have people looking up to you. And they're going to follow the leader. And if you're doing bad things, they're going to do bad things. If you're doing good things, they're going to do good things. You have a responsibility in life to do good so you can help others that don't have near the ambition that you have. I, for whatever reason, was given the gift of being ambitious. And it can be a curse in some ways, but you can't turn it off. It's you are who you are. And if you don't like something, man, just work on it and get better at it. Do we have any breaking news?
We do.
I'm ready.
The headline reads, got skunks in your home? You ever had a skunk in your house?
No, but I've had some animals in my house that I
Okay.
didn't want in there, like groundhogs
Okay. Well, it says.
and squirrel
Oh, okay.
and a cat.
Okay. Well, it says don't use a smoke bomb to get rid of it.
Okay.
Because in Scotland recently, excuse me, not Scotland, in Detroit, Michigan, a guy was trying to use a smoke bomb and he put it in his crawl space to get rid of these skunks, and it caught his house on fire,
House on fire.
and it's a complete loss. But the skunks escaped. So there was no skunks harmed in the fire, but
That's
he
interesting.
caught his house on fire by using smoke bombs to get rid of the skunks. So don't use smoke bombs to get rid of the skunks.
Not a good idea.
No. And today is I just thought this was, well, first we'll do the serious one.
Okay.
The serious one is it's elementary school teacher day. So
Elementary school. teacher.
shout out to them,
Yes.
pat on the back. But it's also, and everyone knows this, it's National Drinking Straw Day. I can't believe there's a day for that.
We should name some of these days ourselves. Somebody's making this up.
But the
Why
one I
can't we?
like the most is I love ice cream. I could eat ice cream every day,
Fair enough.
maybe every meal.
I'm right behind you.
It's National Strawberry Ice Cream Day.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
My favorite is just simple, plain old vanilla, man.
Really?
Yeah. I'm a vanilla guy.
Yeah. You're vanilla.
Wasn't there a group called Nilly Vanilla? No,
I
no.
think so. I think
No, what was no, there's a famous
there was a
group,
rapper called Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice. Yeah, he's still around doing
Yeah.
all kinds of.
He's got a home
the
improvement
guy's a
show.
gazillionaire. He's got in the real estate business with all of his income.
Because
And he owns like 102. He owns like, I don't know. He's got homes he's bought he has never even seen.
Yeah.
Interesting guy too.
Wow.
There's all kinds of stories about him. Like who's the guy in prison that was the big rapper?
P. Diddy.
No, but
No.
he's another one. Who's the guy that murdered a person or two and they put him in jail a couple
I
different
don't know.
times? And he owned the label, and now I think Snoop Dogg bought the label. Any rate, so a story about him, he held Vanilla Ice over the railing, and said, "If you don't sign with me, I'm going to drop you," or something crazy. Vanilla Ice said that wasn't true. But I figure where there's smoke, there's a little fire.
Yeah.
Back in the day, there was some pretty crazy stuff going on in the music business. Maybe still is, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, any final words of wisdom, sir?
No, just listening to you talk today reminds me of several years ago when you came to me and said, "Boy, I'd really like to do some public speaking or some speaking events," and we brainstormed a little bit, and you said, "Man, a podcast would be great." And I said, "Well, let's figure out how to do that." So here we are today. So
Crazy, huh?
and I remember also what you told me, the reason why you wanted to do it. You said you didn't care if it made money, you didn't care about getting any advertisers to sponsor the show. You said, if you can help.
One person, it is as if to have helped the whole world.
Yeah.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's deep.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I guess we pretty much summed it all up. So until next time, just remember, eventually, if you don't give up, the stars are going to line up. It's an old saying, but it still has a lot of meaning. The key to everything in life, really and truthfully, is put out the effort and never give up. Put out some effort, put out a lot of effort, and never quit. Yes, you're going to have disappointments, of course. Don't let anybody tell you that you're not, because they're lying to you. And I'm only going to tell you the truth, guys. I've been up and down a lot of times, and the secret is just to have the courage to get yourself back up again. Pick yourself back up, brush yourself off, and keep going. It's not that big of a deal, man. Just stay the course, and eventually, I promise you, if you don't give up, at least you're going to have some progress somewhere between some and a whole lot. So look forward to that. All right, until next time, just remember, stay positive.